about saying anything that is compromising because I can cut things out.
Yes.
It'll just be me who knows. I have a file. No, no, that's not true.
All right.
Don't worry.
You want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah.
Just
Wait, are we looking into the camera?
You don't know. You just.
Okay, we're just talking.
Yeah. Well, you can look into the camera and be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, what's up? I'm Amir."
Like you do in office there when someone says something weird, you just do.
My name is Amir Fazeli. I'm here from Australia. I'm 30. How old am I? 38. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I've done powerlifting. I've competed in powerlifting since 2010 up until 2020. I was like competitive powerlifter.
In Australia?
In Australia, represented Australia in powerlifting at World Championships. I broke the world record in the deadlift in 2015. Won the gold medal in the deadlift at the EP4 World Championships in 2016. It was a fluke.
Oh, come on.
I won the bronze medal in the squat in the 2015 World Championships. Won the national championships 3 times in Australia. I founded and own Adonis Athletics, which is a chain of 24/7 strength and conditioning facilities in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. We have 5 branches. Yeah, now I'm here in Dubai trying to do the same thing.
Okay. All right, cool. So
Let's
obviously,
unpack.
let's take it back a second here. All right, so you're from Australia. Yeah, born, raised, grew up there.
No, I was I'm Iranian background, so I grew up in Iran, and then went to Australia when I was 10 years old. And then
Yeah, so you were raised pretty much
pretty much,
there.
Certainly all my adult life, all my teens, all my adult life so far in Australia.
Okay. What made you come to Dubai though?
It's a little bit of a mixed story actually. So it's a combination of reasons. I've always liked traveling a lot, and like since my early 20s, like I traveled around like quite a few countries, and immediately fell in love with traveling. And whenever I would go somewhere, I would sit around, like if I would be sitting at a cafe or something, I would look around and think like, this place is pretty cool. It'd be good to like live here for a year and experience like a different culture, you know, different people, different foods, you know, things like that. And throughout my life, I always had like older, I guess, friends, family friends, father figures who had lived these random like full lives, you know, that they'd done these random things. They would have they were mechanics, but also in another chapter of their life, they drove like the really long semi-trailers from like across Australia, you know, and they lived like in another country for a particular reason, like some random thing that happened, you know. And so I would always think to myself, how cool is that? Like this person, if he was to die tomorrow, he could be happy knowing he lived a very full life, right? Yeah. He experienced so many things that like a school education wouldn't give you, or like, you know, some other formal thing wouldn't give you, or like a 9-to-5 job wouldn't give you.
Definitely.
And for me, that was always like very appealing. So that was kind of the root of it, the seed that sort of started it in my mind. And then as time progressed and I got older, things started to become a bit more monotone for me in Australia. And like it got to a point where I could tell, like tomorrow at 10 o'clock this is going to happen, and then at 11 o'clock this is going to happen. And then it was just the same thing again and again. Like there wasn't much newness, there wasn't much like growth going on. And like it just started to become like really boring and repetitive. So I just wanted to, you know, go back to my thoughts of like traveling, like it'd be good to live at X place or Y place or whatever. So first I had toyed with the idea of moving to London many years ago. This is like before Brexit. And then I thought about it. Firstly, the weather. I can't do I can't do that kind of weather. It's just like, like even this is a little depressing.
I know, right? Today it just doesn't feel like Dubai.
I can't do all the time overcast. And the appealing thing about London was like it's super close to Europe mainland. So, and like I love Europe. So I thought that's okay. You kind of like you learn to live with the rain a little bit or whatever. You can easily go to Europe, come back, you know, even for a weekend. You know? But then I thought about it. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Then I thought about maybe like Singapore, because like I like Singapore. Then I thought, I don't know if I could live there. I like going there, visiting there. I don't know if I could live there. Anyway, after COVID, when everything opened up again and we could travel again, I booked to go to Europe. And this was a stopover, as is normally the case with anywhere you travel from Australia to Europe, you're stopping in Dubai, as is like in most places now. Like Dubai is like the central hubs, like stopover. So I'd always wanted to see Dubai. I hadn't seen it yet up to that point. I told my wife, let's stop there for a fair few days and just see what it's all about. So when we got here, it was nighttime, so we just went straight to the hotel and basically just like slept. In the morning, I said, let's go have a look around. As soon as I got out and I was staying in downtown, and I stepped foot into like the fountain area and stuff like that, I was just like, just this feeling, like I was like, I've got to come here. That's kind of what triggered it. And then on top of that, because we're here for like 10 days, went around, saw the place, I saw its state, like how safe it is, how clean it is, how new it is.
Yeah.
Looked into it more, asked other people who I know who had lived here, who do live here, like friends of mine and friends of mine. Out of all the places that I could think of where I could do something with my knowledge or my skills or whatever, this sort of seemed like the place to give a try. Because it's so easy to like start a business here, get like residency, get visa, compared to many other countries. So yeah, we just decided to settle on Dubai.
And you've been here how long now?
Exactly a year now.
Hey, 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
And they usually say the first year is the most difficult, so you've gone past the most difficult
Yes.
part.
Yeah,
Just like a relationship.
Exactly. Here with your wife as well? She's here too?
Yeah, wife and my 2.5-year-old son.
Aww.
So all three of us.
What's his name?
Cyrus.
Cyrus, and your wife?
Paris.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So us three here.
Yeah.
Settled in, and like you said, the first year is the hardest.
The toughest
especially
one.
here, because so many things, especially cash flow wise, is like upfront. Like when you get here,
Yeah.
have to pay
Rent is
for-
up front.
Rent is
for
up front.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah.
Everything.
Like
Yeah.
Everything's up front.
car, like
Yeah.
you're not going to get a loan, for you need to
Yeah,
like have
yeah.
cash in hand for a car, etc., all the other stuff that goes with it. So yeah, once you get through all that, then it becomes a bit easier.
Yeah.
Should be smooth sailing after that.
Yeah, hopefully.
I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
There's
The
such
Australian
a-
accent.
Yeah.
Everywhere around the world, I think.
No,
I
I
think
mean,
the
people in
Aussie
general
accent
like
stands
that.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Out of all the
But it's
That
like-
and the British accent.
But
Yes.
I feel like the Aussie accent is like a kind, caring one. I don't know.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. So
Okay.
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
But so because you mentioned you had your businesses your gyms in Australia. You still have them currently.
yeah,
So they're still running. They're
Yeah.
still going. Okay, so you go back for every couple of.
Well, the plan is now, to go in a couple of months. I'm planning to go.
Check
So
up
if everything
and-
goes good, check
Yeah.
up, see the family as well while you're there. But yeah, right now they're just doing their
Okay.
thing.
What got you into powerlifting?
Yeah, I was gonna ask all
I
these
know.
powerlifting.
Like I
things.
want to know like why powerlifting?
10 years
like
of
yeah.
powerlifting.
Yeah.
And
Records.
yes, exactly. World
Yeah.
champion. World
So,
record.
It was actually like a little bit, I wouldn't say accident, but against my own sort of will. So when I was in my teens,
Lift.
yeah, more or less. When I was in my teens, I actually started with like boxing and
I was going to ask about that because you also teach at Nogs, don't you?
I don't teach there.
Okay.
Sometimes I help the head coach there, Puyo, who's my
okay.
coach there.
Okay.
If he's in need of like if it gets really busy and he needs like assistance of some sort, yeah.
Okay.
In my like mid-teens, I started with boxing and did that for a bit. Then moved on to kickboxing for a bit. Had a couple of fights in kickboxing, and I was just around that and also a bit of grappling. And then I started my gyms in 2010. So I was 23, 24.
Young.
Wow.
And because I was by myself, like I didn't have any like business partners or anything like that, I couldn't do anything else. Like I couldn't have any other hobbies outside of the gym because I was there from morning to night basically,
Right, okay.
every day. So the sort of natural thing to do was to just train, like as any form of like sport, In the lead up to that, like just before I was opening my gyms, I was working at a gym where I was one of the small handful of people who did like squats, bench press, deadlift, all the powerlifting movements. There was a little powerlifting crew there, very, very small one. Especially back then, it was a very like a niche sport, even smaller than it already is as a sport,
small, yeah.
One of the guys there who was an OG like in the health and fitness industry, he would see me doing these lifts and he could see that there is potential for powerlifting. So he one day he goes, there's a powerlifting comp coming up, I want you to do it. And I was like, nah, not interested, whatever. He wouldn't let go. He's like, no, you have to do it. I'm putting your name down, blah, 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 blah. So,
Forced
so
to.
Like Harry
yeah,
Potter.
kind of got forced, yeah.
Yes.
So I said, all right, whatever, I'll do it. So I went in and won very easily, like pretty easily. And that qualified me for the national championships, which was like the next year, like
Oh, wow.
March,
So, like,
April, something.
wow.
I can't remember exactly, because that was the December.
Yeah.
That competition was in a December in 2010, and then I qualified for nationals, won nationals.
Oh.
Then that qualified
Wow.
me. That qualified me for the following year, which was the very first Raw Powerlifting World Championships in Sweden.
Wow. Okay.
So then I went to that, did horribly. That was my first World Championships. I actually dropped a deadlift on my foot, broke my toe. Yeah. Yeah. Learned my lesson.
Oh.
No more broken limbs.
Says the girl with
So
two broken
yeah, there you
fingers.
go. So that's kind of how I got into it, because it was very convenient. I got into it a few months after I opened my gym. You know, I had opened my gym like June-ish,
Okay, and then a couple
and then
months later.
that December
yeah,
was the
okay.
competition, right? Because I was still working at that gym and working at my gym.
Oof.
Wow.
You know, as
Okay.
like the early days of a
Yeah.
business, like you gotta
Yeah,
still have the
yeah.
cash flow, right?
Yeah.
So then when I decided, okay, like I did good at that competition, this is maybe something I can do like long term, I just did powerlifting at my gym, and that became my sport, because I couldn't leave in the middle of the day to go to a boxing gym and
Right.
do boxing,
No.
you know, so I
Right.
just had to stop that. And so that just stayed, and I just got better at it, and got to more competitions, and then more people came to my gym because powerlifting was growing, and also because I was one of the first people in Sydney to offer powerlifting like facilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Everything else was like either a commercial gym,
Yeah.
like just a normal fitness first or
Yeah.
whatever, or like CrossFit,
Right,
CrossFit
yeah,
classes.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
at that time, this 2010 we're talking about. There wasn't any like performance facilities where they have like weightlifting equipment, powerlifting equipment, you know,
Yes.
like strongman equipment,
yeah.
and then you can get a membership and just do what you need to do, or get coaching if you want. My gym was the first in Sydney to offer that. So people started finding out about the sport of powerlifting, and it's relatively obviously cheap and easy to get into as a sport. You know, like you
Yeah.
don't need like crazy equipment or like, you know, outlay a lot of money or whatever. So people just searched out the gym, and also because they were tuning in to watch comps, they would see me there, and I'd win, I'd get
Yeah.
medals or whatever, and they want to come train with me. You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
so it
You're
just grew
making a
like
name
that.
for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's kind of like right place at the right time sort of thing, you know. And then the team grew, and we just kept growing and growing, like bigger team. Went into like more competitions, a bunch of us, you know. And from there, like over time, lots of us like went to worlds. Lots of us broke like world records, won
Yeah.
medals. So yeah, it's been good, you know.
What was the deadlift world
was my
record?
next
Yeah,
question.
what
Yeah.
was it?
At the time, it was 316 at under 83 kilo body weight. It was like 82.7 or something at that time. Yeah, in 2015.
Wow.
Okay.
That must have felt
Okay.
really good
Oh, yeah.
to pick that one up.
Are you lifting heavier today than you did then, or is that like the heaviest you've been?
No, I lifted heavier since. Today, I'm not at that peak, but I'm at a level where if somebody says there's a comp in like 4 months, I can get ready.
You can get
know?
ready, yeah. You're maintaining that.
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of-
Part of it is also because I wrestle now. That's like my main focus. But because I'm never going to stop like training, strength training, and because strength training is part of the strength and conditioning for wrestling for me, I'm always going to like, you know, maintain it in my life and my lifestyle.
Of course.
But since then, I competed in another federation where I broke the record in that federation. I think it still stands. It was 320.5. And then another time, just exhibition at like a fitness show. We had a stand for our gym. Like we got like a space at the Sydney Fitness Expo. I pulled 335 that day.
Oof.
Oh.
But like that's just like exhibition, and not like competition.
Oh, so it doesn't count.
You know,
not
standards or
an
whatever. It was just like, you just do your
Oh, you
warm-up
just went
and
in
stuff.
and you just did it.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
Like
you just.
easy.
Let's just lift this today, shall we?
Yeah, let's just like beautify.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Wow. But
That's how
obviously,
you
I mean,
roll.
obviously, like looking at how you started, it's obviously something natural to you anyway. It's like first comp, immediate qualifications, and you just kind of flow into
It just it did sort of flow
Yeah.
a lot for me. It was just like one after the other, and I was just improving continuously, more or less. You know, I had the time to train. I understood it well because I was also the background in like sports science. Like when I finished high school, I did my bachelor's, then my master's in sport performance.
Yeah.
So I could piece it together. I didn't need a coach.
Yeah.
And I can stay very detached emotionally from my own programming.
Yeah.
So I know what to do. Like if I need to do it, like I don't pick things just because I like them, you know. So I'll just write my own programs, and there'll be no delay in that regard. I could just
That's impressive.
get on with it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I could not write my
Very.
yeah, it's very hard.
Very
It's
hard.
it's a very hard thing.
Yeah.
You need a particular personality type to be able to like genuinely write your own program and move forward. Even then, sometimes, even for myself, like along the way, thinking back, there probably would have been times where I would have been better off, at least for a patch of time,
Right.
to have a coach,
Right.
you know, and then go back to doing my own thing. As a general rule, a coach is always going to help you more than you can do yourself. You know?
What personality type? Do you know anything about personality types? Do you know which one you are?
Like in terms of the 6 personality types, like the personality traits.
Have you ever done the Myers-Briggs? Do you know
The
this
4
one?
colors one? No.
There's so many different
know.
ones. Do you know which one? Do you know?
So I know the traits. So you know, like agreeableness,
Yeah.
conscientiousness.
Oh, no, never.
Yeah, but those are traits. You're talking about types.
Yeah.
I know the colors where
Yeah.
it's like you've got your red color, your blue color,
Oh, that's
your green
green
color.
that's off
and
that
yellow.
book, right? Based off that book. I'm
This
surrounded by idiots.
Oh no, I don't
Is
know.
that
I've had to do this
Yeah,
test like in
also-
2 different companies that I
also-
worked for.
Yeah. Also, disc. I think they call it.
Yes,
Dominant.
yes.
I
Yes.
don't know what the E is. The I is for something.
Let's look it up.
There's yes, it's disc.
And then social and conscientious. And the I is.
Irresistible. I don't know.
No, I am the one. I is something.
Independent.
Below.
No.
I don't know.
Dominance, influence, steadiness,
Oh,
conscientiousness.
Steadiness. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'd be a
But I
big
assume-
red dominance.
Yeah, direct.
Yeah,
is
and
also
usually you have like a mix of 2 as well.
I assume everybody would be a bit of mix, right?
Yeah, you've got all
Yeah.
4 for sure. I know, like for me, like the dominant one was red, and then the second one was
Yeah.
blue.
Oh.
I'm definitely not patient. So steadiness is 0. Yeah, fairly conscientious. Yeah, dominance and influence.
Probably.
Yeah,
I was just wondering. I thought you were talking about the personality. I said maybe you know which one you have.
yeah. That'll be
That'll be
probably-
interesting to know. Another
It'd
time.
be good to do the tape.
Maybe.
See what
We
the
should
test is.
do
Yeah.
these tests actually.
Yeah, but it takes a while.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
the other
yeah,
one,
it
the
does.
16 type one, which is really good. It takes like 20 minutes. Which is okay. It's not that long, but still, you don't want to go do it.
Yeah, plus they ask in the test they ask certain questions repeatedly in a different way.
Yes,
To
exactly.
see if you,
if you respond
Yeah.
similar and that kind of stuff, like if you're consistent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. You're like,
I suppose.
I don't know. As if you're some kind of robot who doesn't don't remember the previous answer or something. Stupid.
But as a athlete, as a coach, wait. So you're wrestling now? No.
now,
You're
now I'm
You're
wrestling.
wrestling. Are you competing in wrestling?
Yeah. In Australia, I was. Yeah. Here, I'm waiting for competitions. They just started a wrestling federation just a couple months ago, and that one was like a test run, I think, because they did only like under 16s and under 17, under 15s, under 17s. But because I was like last year, I'd gotten here, and I don't want to lose the touch of competition.
Right.
End of last year, the jiu-jitsu guys at the gym at Nogs were like, "Oh, there's a comp coming up, like a jiu-jitsu comp, and white belts are allowed because I don't do jiu-jitsu.
okay,
I'm
yeah,
automatically
yeah,
like
yeah,
white
yeah,
belt.
yeah.
Because here usually they don't allow white belts,
Okay.
which is interesting. Like you have to be minimum blue belt and
Yeah,
above
yeah.
because it's such a big sport here. And they're like, "Nah, this one white belts are allowed or whatever." I said, "Yeah, man, put my name down." This was like 4 days out from the comp, so
You hadn't done
Love it.
jiu-jitsu.
no, I don't. Like
No.
I've done like I go in with the boys or whatever on
Yeah,
an open
yeah,
mat or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You know, there's a couple of lessons here and there.
Yeah.
I know how to choke. I know how to like do an arm bar or
Yeah.
something like that. But I'm not a jiu-jitsu
No.
man. So I put my name down. I went and I ended up winning gold. I just
How do you do? Listen, I just put my name down. I go in and I win.
Everything you do, you sign up and you win. What is this?
It was good fun. It
I
was
love it.
just
Love it,
wrestling,
love it,
just
love it.
wrestling, just score points.
Yeah.
Just
love
take them
it.
down, just establish dominance, like hold the position. And go
Yeah,
in.
that's it. Okay,
Love
it's
it.
so easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I just get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Cool.
was good fun. So probably like more this year.
Okay, cool.
I wanna compete more in like wrestling and the jiu-jitsu.
You're gonna do classes, or you're gonna like follow up?
Oh,
Okay,
maybe it'll
yourself
work
a
out
blue
worse
belt.
for me. I'll start losing. Maybe I should keep it like this. Yeah, but yeah, I like competing. You know.
Yeah.
I like competing,
Yeah.
testing yourself. Like
That's
win or lose,
good.
just going there.
Yeah.
It gets boring just training. Just
True.
It does.
for the sake of
So you
training.
have like a
There is
purpose
no-
to look forward
yeah.
to something, to
Yeah.
train for something as well.
Exactly.
Like have something to focus
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it gives you like a reason to go. Because especially when you don't feel like it on those days, you know.
True.
For me, like that's for me anyway, right? For like I just feel like that becomes it makes it harder to skip out
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
training.
This is like,
If
I
you've
know
got
why I'm
something
here.
coming.
I got something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're just training and you're like, I don't feel it today. I'll just get tomorrow. You know, whatever. And then,
Absolutely.
and then tomorrow becomes the
Yeah.
next day, and then becomes the next
Yeah.
day.
Becomes
Before
a
you know
week,
it,
becomes a
there's
month.
After you've had a competition, if you have to had that feeling, you don't want to go back
Yeah.
to just training normal, like
yeah.
nothing to look out for.
Exactly.
Like, what are you
That's true.
doing?
That's true.
Just for aesthetics? No, it needs
Yeah.
to be bigger than
needs
that.
to,
Yeah.
it needs to have like a goal. a purpose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think once you have it, it's there.
So now you're gonna start your Adonis. You're gonna open up in Dubai as well, or is that too mixed?
That was originally when I came.
Yeah.
Before like knowing anything about Dubai and the dynamics and stuff like that. That was definitely one of the goals, and it still is. It's on the cards, but it's not like at the top of the list because the services we offer it branches out. So we have like obviously the physical gym location where
Yeah.
people come, and that's an option here to open up a physical location like this, for example, for people to come. We have like online stuff, as with most people these days. So right now I'm working with a lot of guys within the UAE, in Kuwait, in Saudi, like on an online basis for different sports. Some BJJ, some like football, some just general training,
Yeah.
strength training, and then the other thing that we do back home is a lot of like educational stuff for coaches and PTs.
Nice.
So that's actually been for me over the last few years one of the things like my interest has naturally switched to. So when I started, naturally that was my trade. It was my thing, like strength and conditioning. I was like a super nerd about it, and like everything about strength and conditioning, I knew. Like I just wanted to read about it. I wanted to know about it. Then as time went on, and I like opened one gym, two gyms, and more, like I started to find that business development is actually what really interests me. You know.
Yeah.
To be able to take something from nothing and then like through strategy, through thoughts and execution, be able to turn it into something. And we have like courses for fitness business owners, like online coaches, like gym owners,
cool.
for the marketing, for the sales, as well as like how to write programs, how to write diet and nutrition, right? All of it. So we've got the online courses there. And since being here, I've been working with a couple of like up-and-coming gym owners here and back home to set up and open their own gym, and even like just businesses that are not related to fitness.
Okay, yeah.
As kind of like a consulting thing.
Okay, cool.
So I work with a couple of businesses here where they want to work on, like, for example, their client retention and like building systems around developing relationships with like customers. You know.
Nice.
So stuff like that I really enjoy.
The other side of
So
you.
yeah. So like the business side, that's
cool.
really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So the educational stuff for coaches, because like a lot of coaches, almost every coach who gets in the industry knows certainly enough to get results. But you know, why do you have somebody who knows much less than somebody who has a degree, but they do much better?
Yeah.
It typically comes down to their marketing, to their ability to be able to sell, and those skills are a lot of times lacking in a lot of coaches, in a lot of gym owners and stuff like that. So you need systems around that, and being able to help people develop those systems, it's cool. You know?
cool, yeah.
because it's very hard, especially owning like a brick and mortar facility. You got electricity to pay, you got rent to pay, you've got like staff to pay, equipment got to be bought, then the equipment's got to be maintained. You know, like it's not easy.
Yeah.
So you need like a way to be able to constantly get leads in on a consistent basis, be able to sell, like, so convert those leads at a good percentage, and then be able to keep them. And this is like what I enjoy a lot, in being able to like work with like coaches and stuff like that, to be able to do. So those are like some of the things that I'm looking at sort of expanding and getting into here.
Very interesting.
See how we go.
That's like
A whole different side, like very, very analytical, very much driven into statistics or numbers or all these things. That's pretty cool.
Maybe you do have a blue side to you too.
Yes, I was gonna say.
You reckon?
No, or is it green or blue? Which one?
Blue. Analytical is blue.
Yeah, the blue one. Yeah, red and blue then.
I'm not very good at maths, but
No, you don't have to be good at maths. Analytics, analyzing things, finding solutions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's interesting. It's true. And I think, but look, I mean, I think that's like for most coaches, when we start, we don't realize that it's just not the knowledge that's going to get you somewhere. It's so much more than that. You know, it's relationships with your clients. It's business. It's knowing your numbers. It's marketing. It's selling. It's knowing the industry in itself and understanding how to maneuver inside the industry. Dubai is a whole other playing field as well, because in Belgium it's so different. Question: what is the fitness industry like in Australia? Because I think sometimes I may have a wrong image of it.
What image do you have?
I don't know. I'm not going to say what image I have. No, but I don't know. Okay. I mean, you think of Australia, think of like beach surf, whatever, you know, you think of like everybody like trying to keep fit. You think of everyone just running along the beach and like, you know, everyone going to gyms and everyone just being really like fit, healthy, whatever. But I'm pretty sure there's another side to Australia too. Yeah. And like, what is your, like, for you, what is fitness industry, health and fitness, powerlifting, whatever? In Australia? Yeah. In Australia, like, it's definitely a big industry. It's actually pretty comparable to here. There's been a pretty solid and rapid change in the last 5 to 7 years, 5 years, where you're getting less and less big gyms opening and more smaller, like strength facilities, like mine, that more kind like of style. That special niche kind of, that kind of style opening. And like, before you had to really look to find a facility like that. It would be like one on one end of Sydney, which is where I am, and then maybe another one like in another part of Sydney. You had like a 45-minute drive. Now you'll find like 3-4 within a 10-15 minute drive of each other, you know, in almost anywhere you go. So, and the reason for that is because you have personal trainers, so many personal trainers, and they're constantly coming in, as is like the case even here. Here, same. And then they see that you don't need a huge capital outlay to open a gym like that, right? You just need to get a place about 150 square meters, have anywhere between, depending on how crazy you want to get, 60,000 to 100,000 Australian at hand to be able to get equipment and fit it out and get everything in there. And then you can bring your own crew and clients and charge the membership and go away you go. Like, they just think to themselves, why should I go to a gym, pay rent there, you know, and have to deal with all that crap when I can just, you know, have be my own like boss. Yeah. But then they open and they realize it's actually not that easy, you know. But now it's too late because they've done it now. They have to see it out, and a lot of times it's like it becomes like an ego thing where like, no, I'm not gonna let go. I'm gonna keep going, even though it's like it's costing you every year, you know. So in that regards, there's been more and more gyms opening like that. There's more and more like focus towards an acceptance of online coaching, especially since COVID. Before that, it was already there, very prevalent. But especially since COVID, it's become like almost normality to have a gym membership and then have a coach like somewhere else in the world, not even in front of you anymore. Yeah, you know? That's true.
and for them to just give you a program and then check in with you, like see the videos, not even live, like another time, you know. So that's changed things a lot. Certain parts of Sydney especially, definitely more pretentious in regards to, you know, training and needing to be seen and you must be beautiful and all this stuff, right? And like it's cool, man. Like it's got its own quirks, you know, whatever. And then other areas not so much, you know. Like you get more predominance of like bigger dudes, you know, bodybuilders or like powerlifters and stuff like that. Powerlifting as a whole has really picked up in Australia a lot. Like here compared to Australia, it's non-existent.
Wow.
Even though they have competitions here, there is powerlifting here. And it is growing. Compared to Australia, it's non-existent here.
Wow.
Like
in
it's
Australia,
huge there.
it's really, really big. It's grown, it's blown up like over the last 5-6 years, and it's still growing. Like you can find yourself a competition every month, every 2 months. You can find yourself a competition. Here, they'll have 2 a year.
I think it is getting bigger and more seen and more. Like there's a couple of places that do try to kind of like push it out a little bit more, I think. But I think there's, I don't know, I might be mistaken, but I think there's this whole misconception about powerlifting as well, like injuries. You're going to get injured and you're going to get big and buff and you're only doing 3 movements when you train. And it's just like there's so much more to it than that.
Heaps of like misconceptions like that. And that just gets ironed out over time. Right now, here is where Australia was like 8 years ago.
No way.
So like you see a lot of the same patterns in that
okay.
regards, you know, in terms of like the sport of powerlifting.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable; it'll grow.
Yeah.
It's not going to disappear. But it's just taking its time. It's the early days. There's too little competitions, too few for it to grow as fast as it needs to. Somebody needs to take the charge to put on more competitions, and then it will just grow.
Well, that's why you're here, no?
Yeah. But I mean, the only difference is Australia has these dangerous spiders, and people want to be strong as shit, so they don't, you know, be able to
Here,
fight them off.
no big
It's all the
spiders
kangaroos
here.
in our backyard. That's what it is.
That's what we're missing here. That's what we need.
Bring on the kangaroos and the
Incentive.
spiders.
We need more incentive. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And what about strongman?
Strongman's really grown recently
In Australia,
yeah, heaps. It was just a bunch of dudes before, like, who just liked it and used to like make their own equipment and just go to like a school on a Sunday because like obviously the school's closed, and they just put on a competition. But as of the last few years, like there are now, you know, companies that manufacture equipment for strongman. You know, those same companies like make equipment for big time competitions, like even international ones. Rogue's gotten into it, you know. They do all the equipment for like World's Strongest Man. So it's really picked up in that regard. And you know, for a company like Rogue to get involved, because they have that's the direct connection to the other end, right? The consumer, like the main market, CrossFit and just like selling equipment to the general consumer and stuff like that. If they're getting involved in something so niche, something that was so niche as strongman, that's a good sign. So in Australia, it's definitely growing in that regards.
That's cool. But you kind of see that a little bit now as well in CrossFit. You kind of see a little bit more strongman movement creeping in there, you know? Like the yoke walk is coming in there. And you're like, all right.
They're doing that big, like, I noticed that big flip with the big, like, gigantic, like, rectangular mat. That's like really, really heavy. So
yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
You see it bleeding in, you know? And that's the CrossFit, right? The CrossFit is what really got powerlifting going. So if it's bleeding into CrossFit, that means it's going to bleed into the public sooner, you know. So
it's a very entertaining sport as well. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I was watching World Ultimate Strongman in 2019 here in Dubai, and I was watching them. I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very.
I want to throw around a couple of things like that.
Yeah, strongman is. It's much more entertaining to watch than powerlifting. Boring as shit to watch. It's not a spectator sport.
It's not a spectator sport. Like, it's not. I mean, it is impressive, but there's no entertainment around it for sure.
Like it's okay to compete in it, obviously, because you're involved and you're competing or whatever. But in terms of like watching, strongman is definitely more entertaining. Even in terms of competing, strongman is like more engaging. Especially in terms of training, because you're always training for something else. It's the competition part's okay, like for almost any sport, because you are the competitor. As a competitor, like, you know, you're about to do your thing, so you're engaged mentally. But it's the training a lot of times that like becomes
the obstacle. Like for example, swimming. It's the same thing all the time. You're just seeing the black line on the floor of the pool, up and down, up and down. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, right? But there's no way, like you can't add any like variance to it.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
But with strongman, at least if you know it's going to be these events, then it's you training different events
you
for
change
that competition.
your that's true. Yep,
But powerlifting is just squat, bench, and
Mm.
deadlift. Squat, bench, and deadlift. Like a lot of people get bored. You see a lot of like strongmen come to do powerlifting, and then they're just like, fuck this, I'm going back to, like this is...
I want a little bit of variation here, like this is
bored.
just too repetitive. Yeah. It's true. I mean, like when we train, like we're training for certain comps, knowing about certain events. It's like, all right, cool, that's what we're working. We change, we go there, we go there. So
that's what I like about it. It's very dynamic.
Yeah, true. And it's functional, you know.
And even for, in my opinion, for the purposes of like strength and conditioning for athletes, it's a better sport. Like for the strength development part, it's a better sport, I think.
Coming from a world record holder.
Yes. So
I think
sign up now.
Yeah.
It's got much more. I reckon it's got much more utility.
I mean, if you look at the movements, it is functional. You know, I mean, yes, okay, it's heavy, and obviously there's risks to heavy lifting, as is in anything that we do. But when you look at the movements, you know, it's functional. It's that you need speed, you need agility. You're working on all these things as well, and
Even as athletes, I think they're more athletic in general. They're fitter. You have to move. You see the speed that they're moving. You know, like
that's the most impressive. I think.
So like I assume you guys follow the sport pretty closely. So you know Mitchell Hooper.
Yeah.
I was his coach.
Before
he got into
okay,
strongman.
Cool. Okay.
When he moved to Australia, because he was there for studies, he was training at our gym.
Oh, cool.
That's amazing.
So he started with powerlifting, and then I was coaching him for a stint there, and then he continued his training but switched to strongman.
Right.
Then did some strongman competitions there. He dominated, and then like he really took a liking to it. Pretty much for the same reason. Like his personality type, you could tell he needs to train with good intensity, and he needs like a variety of things to train for. And you would see like when he started doing the yokes in competitions back home in Australia, he was sprinting with like 400 kilos. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he just killed everyone. And these other lads were, bigger. Supposedly they would have been like at least in some aspects stronger, but they just didn't have that athleticism, the same way as he did. He's very big, but for his size, he's like ridiculously agile, and that's been one of the main reasons why
he is where he is. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, you need that.
I think World Strongest coming up soon.
Is it?
I think he's in. Yeah, obviously because he's a reigning champ. So
but he was a recent. What was it? The Arnold Classic.
Yeah, he won the Arnold
a
few weeks back, and then I think World Strongest coming up.
Is it now?
This
month?
Maybe not this month.
In a couple in May,
it's
June,
coming,
something.
Yeah, maybe about June.
Is it again in what was it? Venice Beach? Was it? No, last time.
Last year, I don't know.
That was Ultimate Strongest.
There's so many now. Yeah.
There's so many.
Ultimate, Worlds, this, that.
One
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
There's quite a few of them.
Yeah, I thought it was Worlds. Anyway,
sure.
if it's coming
we'll
up,
figure
we'll
it out.
watching it.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, fine. We'll figure it out and then link it to it.
Hey, we don't know everything.
Is it about time to hop in? You think?
Let's do it.
I just have one last question.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I just want to know. Do you know Sebastian Ora?
Yeah.
You do, like personally?
Yeah. So
cool.
we actually started
Sebastian Ora.
at the same
Australian
time.
strength coach.
Australian strength coach.
Yeah, Thor's coach.
I don't know.
No, because he's a power lifter originally as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He still is.
He still competes from time to time, from what I remember, from what I've seen.
Okay.
I don't know when his last comp was, but yes, that's his bread and butter, like background wise, powerlifting. Yeah.
Okay, just a question. It's like no, because I don't know. I follow, and it's like you watch these things, and like especially with Thor, you watch how Thor went from doing the 501, then he went into boxing. Lost all that weight, whatever, and then he went back to strongman, and it's just like as a coach I can also imagine that all right, cool, okay, but you went from there to there, and now we got and just his comeback is impressive as well.
It is. Yeah,
so,
he did those couple powerlifting comps as well. I mean he's one of those guys that's just like athletic, because he was background was basketball, right? Before he got into all this.
What?
I think he did basketball.
Really?
Pretty sure.
I didn't know that. I'm learning new things every day.
And then he went into
okay,
strongman.
okay.
But like he's just genetically like he's. I mean, he works freaking hard. Don't get me wrong, trains hard, but like he's got a solid genetic base. You know,
You
to be
need
that tall, that strong. You know, he responds well to training. It is like you know, one of a kind.
Yeah, for sure.
Eddie Hall's one of those guys too. He's just like naturally strong, you know.
Eddie Hall is a character. Like he's a character. Like,
You've met him?
yeah. Well, I met them. So I worked on the event in 2019 in Dubai, where I was basically kind of managing athletes, their wives, like anything that they needed, and kind of like the hospitality for the athletes. So I met them then. To be fair, like, I mean, honestly, all of them, they're such nice, like, you look at them and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to say to you. But like, because it's impressive, you know, you're standing between all of these guys and you're just like, okay. But they're all sweethearts. At the end of the day, they're all sweethearts. Honestly, they're all really, really nice. Their wives, honestly, I have a lot of respect for their wives because the support that they provide for all of them, it's incredible. Like, they're just making sure that, you know, they have everything they need as well. But it was just very, very interesting. And their characters, I mean, Eddie Hall definitely has a character. He's a cheeky man, you know, like
you can tell that.
Yeah. But honestly, it was very interesting to see from behind the scenes. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah. Last comments though, I want to ask, as a coach, as an athlete, what would your golden rule advice be?
Oh, interesting.
As an athlete, not necessarily powerlifting, just as an athlete, as a coach, that everything that you've experienced, jiu-jitsu, well, I mean, white belt jiu-jitsu,
How can you put
winning
this
things,
in
but
one little? Okay.
just that one thing.
Oh, man.
One thing.
For progress and success.
For an athlete, for whatever you think is the most important thing as an athlete.
Like a rule to live by, or?
Like, we're athletes. Mm-hmm. What would you say, like, listen, if I can give you one piece of advice for anything that you do, this is it.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Sorry, cut the rest
So like
out.
a send-off.
Yeah. This is like
hard.
not. No, it's actually not. This is the thing.
Okay.
Like, it's not. Like, people listening to this are probably waiting for what he's gonna say. He's gonna say this crazy thing, you know, like he's gonna say this crazy thing. It's gonna be the biggest anticlimax, like right now.
That's fine.
It's just you. If you want to get good at what you're doing, you just have to figure out a way to keep showing up. That's it.
But this is it though. This is it. This isn't an anticlimax. This is what people need to know. This is what people need to realize.
You just have to figure out, because that, like, over the, like, you know, I've been coaching athletes now since 2010.
Yeah.
You just see the same pattern. Like, you see a guy come, and he is very naturally gifted in strength, so as powerlifting. He's making serious progress. He's like 18 years old, doing ridiculous weights, and if he was to continue, you see his trajectory. And then, like, he might get a little injury, and then you see him just disappear, like he's just not around anymore, you know. And
it's
like, or like you know, something, or he might get stuck with something. He might hit a plateau, you know, which is inevitable.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And just doesn't have the patience to stick it out and just like work through it and figure it out and struggle and just keep going until you see a door that opens, you know. And because it's not a skill like playing the piano. Something like that, you can keep going and not overtrain, right? You can play the piano, like, you know, whatever, multiple hours a day, endlessly every day, right? You're not going to overtrain. You can't do that like with strongman, with powerlifting, right? So by nature, you picking up a new skill, or especially developing, not even skills, because skills come faster, but developing physiological changes like strength or muscular development, like these are gonna take time. You're not going to get it in a year or two. It's gonna take 5, 6, 10 years, you know, for you to get to like those crazy levels that these people want. They're like, oh, some people are like, I'm not gonna compete until my lifts are enough to break the record. It doesn't work like that. No. It doesn't work like that, you know. There's literally, I know nobody who's ever done that. Like in the you know, since like whatever, it's 14 years now around powerlifting, I've never heard of anybody who said, oh, I'm just going to train and train and train, and my first comp he came in or she came in and just took records. No. It doesn't work like that.
But I think that's the thing, like, I think we romanticize things in life, you know, like, oh, I'm going to go for it, but then the reality of it hits and it's just like, oh, okay, what do I do? But it's just, you keep going.
Yeah.
Every day, you show up, you show up, you show up, you show up.
If you really want to get good, that's what you got to do.
You got to show up.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Every day. Show up. So you getting in?
Let's go.
Then we have to get the more ice in.
Yes.
All right, I got change.
Cool.
This is the nice, exciting part.
Yes. Ah, it's recording already? Is it? Oh, is it recording already? Ah, okay. Cool. Cool.
I can be